Hello, hello, hello. Oh, jeez, look at that date. Like yesterday. Hello, welcome. I'm Doug. I might be a little slow. So I was just going to upload my little three-part, hour-long each video, and I didn't have no sound. My stupid wireless mic wasn't working. Joy. Woohoo. So there, 3 hours of videos. Awesome. Great. Wonderful. So, I guess I'll try and catch up, speed run it 2.0, actually 4.0. I don't even know how to sum it all up. I was going to build a pop can crusher using these linear actuators. These are air driven. These come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and short and spat, and I got so many of them. Some of them run on hydraulic fluid, like say you'll see them like on a piece of heavy equipment, a big hydraulic cylinder. Some work on air, some work on like a electric screw type thing, where it just needs electricity, but they're slow. Those ones are slow. What else? Uh, they're really kind of cool with these fittings. These are these Legree French push to connect fittings, they're called. There's coming out of China now, and they're getting cheap. These damn things are stupid expensive. I had collected these for my work before they closed up for a very long time. Most of these are over $100 a piece. They're just insanely expensive. And I didn't even realize it until earlier today that they were brass. Like, here goes a magnet. I had no idea that these were all brass. So that was cool. Learned that today. But a lot of these are the flow control valves, which are the more expensive things. Um, there's tons and tons of different fittings, and it could be a little confusing too, because you have different sizes on each end. One end's threaded, the other end's the tubing, and they're all different sizes. So sometimes it kind of hurts your brain a little trying to figure stuff out. Interestingly, this tubing, it is super durable. I wouldn't say durable, it's super tough. But if, let me think, if you've had some new plumbing installed, you may have heard or seen this stuff called PEX. I think it's PEX, which is water lines made out of this plastic material. It's just a little bigger. And it'll be super cheap compared to copper. Copper super expensive to have your water lines done, plumbing and all that. So a lot of people are going with this PEX, and they're pretty much selling it like it's a lifetime thing, and it's really not. Just like this, right now it's almost indestructible. In 10 years, you could just crush this. It'll be so brittle, it'll crumble in your hands. And if you got water lines going through your house, that's like worst case scenario. So I'm not a fan of PEX at all. because I've seen these fail repeatedly. What else? There's different sizes, different size tubing, different size fittings, different size holes, threads. But a big part of this was these things called MAC valves, which is a general term for any of these type of directional control valves. You see these a lot in factories, manufacturing, automation, anything robotic, anything being moved by like a computer or something that's an arm moving repeatedly, anything automated basically. This is going to basically allow air one way or another. It's actually pretty simple. I had this one apart earlier. It's very simple. It's essentially just a plunger. When it moves one way, it allows air down one hole. When it moves the other way, lets air down the other hole. But I've changed like over 100 of these in my day. But the weird thing is, they also have electrical connection to them, and the electric shop would do that. So my department or me would come in and change out the valve or the busted tubing, and if need be, the electricians, the electrical department, would come in and change out the electrical because it was going to be hooked up in the electric cabinets with like a whole bank of these things like PLC computers, programmable logic computers, where you can set all these parameters for duration and how long and how often these things fire, stuff like that. What else? And a lot of times these will be in a big bank, so they'll be. I've seen a bank with over 100 of these, all stacked next to each other, all with airlines going to them. A lot of times you can't get at them. If one of them down the road is out, you got to take them off to get at it. It's always like the last one too, so you have to take them all off because like all the crap and crud always ends up in the very last one, building up in there after time, and then it stops working. What else? So I think essentially, from what I'm gathering here, just one way or another, through various means, an electrical input that, in most cases, fires off an electromagnet which pulls the plunger in here one way or another. So when it gets power, this magnet pulls the plunger one way. When you take the power off, it lets it go the other way. What I'm not able to figure out is this, the plunger in this is plastic. So I have no damn idea how that's working right now. I almost think air is getting into this too and causing something to happen. But I could be totally wrong. For some reason, I can't get this to do what I wanted to do. So my last video, I've had this all hooked up different. I just switched it all and accidentally hit the stop button. I was going to start loading up the first couple parts because I've been at this forever now. Failing left and right. But I haven't tried this setup yet since I changed it over. So I figured this is very typical of a solenoid that you'd see like in a vehicle. So I figured 12 volts would do it, and then I thought, maybe 24 volts would do it. No, I had to run straight out of my outlet to get that thing to fire, which is kind of spooky. There's like so many different kinds of these. The original old ones that I've always been accustomed to my whole career are these ones. Actual Mac valves. I can't remember what that stands for. Machine air control or manual air control. I can't remember. It's been so long. But this is considered the solenoid. And this is considered the valve. On hydraulic systems, a lot of times they'll actually just have a lever, big old handle. It really doesn't have I don't know why. I don't know if the air pressure is not sufficient for that to work correctly. But there's like tons of different solenoids and tons of different ways to power and control the solenoids. And I don't know any of them. I don't know anything about it because I was an idiot. And when one of these were getting repaired, I would come in and either change out the busted air line, but a lot of times these start leaking air. They'll still function okay, but they'll be hissing and be like, and there's thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of these in the plants. So you want to stop that from happening. And I've changed tons and tons and tons of them. Sometimes it's tricky and sometimes a pain in the butt. A lot of times they're so tight together, you can't get any of the fittings off without disassembling a whole bunch of crap. But I would never have to mess with the electrical components. The electricians will come in, and they're funny as far as they really don't like people standing over their shoulder watching them. I think it's both distracting for them and it's a little dangerous, especially in extremely high voltage situations like a factory where there's just tons and tons of 480 going everywhere. What else did I throw in that other 3 hours worth of useless knowledge? Most of it was trial and error. I figured this battery would do it because it's almost 12 volts. Nothing. Figured this would do it because this thing's got some juice. Jump back here. This thing would jump a dump truck. Didn't do a thing. But I tried one of my special test plugs right off the outlet, and it was finally clicking. But the valve was not moving. So I took everything apart and switched them. So I had the quick connects on this side and the mufflers on this side. These are the little mufflers. You don't really have to have those. I don't even really know what they do. I really don't. I don't think they make it quieter. It's almost like an air stone for a fish tank. I think if you're like looking right at it and it happened to exhaust, it wouldn't blast you right in the eyeball with the jet of air. Just like diffuses it, sort of. They call them mufflers. There's all different kinds. Some of them look just like fish tank air stones. Some of them look like little tampons. These are some types of mufflers. And then these ones. And there's even like this style. But what was I gonna do next? Fire this up. try it again. It took a while because I'm not really good at some of it. It was generally, I would never have to figure out what connectors I needed because they were always there already. I was never in a position where I was putting these in brand spanking new or redoing it to the point where I needed to replace all these, or even if I had to replace the whole valve, I knew exactly and would remember exactly what connections were here, and would, even if I had to replace them all, it was very easy because they're already there. When you're working with nothing, totally different story. There's, no thread, or you have to know the thread size, and you have to know the tubing size. You have to know what ports to use because each one of them's got like, even the simplest one's got like at least I think 6 ports. And this one's only got 3. Maybe this is the one I should try and use. Let's see how to power it. Because I think that's all I need. But if you have extra ports, you can get extra creative. Okay, so wait, maybe that wouldn't work because there'd be no exhaust port. There'd be 1 in, air in, and 2 out. 1, 2. So there wouldn't be an exhaust, which it may not have to have. There's exhaust right there. That's interesting. This is a different kind. I have never seen that before. Okay. The exhaust built into the valve like that. But yeah, it's just a simple little piston in there. It goes back and forth, and when it moves, it's going to allow air down the little vents, either that side or when it comes over here, this side. I'm not in frame at all again. Here's a couple mufflers, a pressure regulator so you can dial it back. What was probably a gauge to tell you exactly how much pressure you had, and your air in. That's a big boy. Your 3/8. And that was another thing. There's standard and metric, so that got confusing too. And there's so many different kinds. Here's another different kind. Festo. Those are top of the line too. These aren't quick connect though. They're not bad, but they're not as easy to do as these ones. Which they're pretty cool how they work. Actually, they're pretty interesting, very clever. Where there's a bunch of teeth inside of there, which I probably won't be able to get. Maybe. If you know what a lamprey eel is, it's like got the same mouth as a lamprey eel. Yeah. And when you push the tubing in there, the teeth grab it. But when you push this ring in, it forces those teeth to open and you can disconnect it super quick. It's beautiful in a production setting. Any setting. Any setting. It's a really, really convenient, nice feature. Beautiful. But you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Otherwise, you use brass, which is not exactly cheap either. Like, you could use rubber tubing and brass fittings and radiator hose clamps, and run all brass plumbing and fittings, but it won't be as nice, it won't be as reliable, it'll look a little crappy. These look more professional. Guys that are good at it too, they can make it look beautiful. But let's give this a whirl. My compressor is pumped up. It's so damn loud. I've got it in this little soundproof box that I made because it's obnoxious. I really have to invest in a quiet air compressor. I really regret not getting one. It was never really an issue, but it is too loud. Zooming in a little more. That's two. That might be too much. Maybe not. That's pretty good, I guess. The microphone's too short now. That's alright. I'm gonna plug in the charger anyway.
Hopefully you can still hear me. Hopefully. There we go. Charging. Yes, we are. So many different ones of these, tons of them too. I want to get good at them because they're really popular with hot rodders and car guys. They use them for turbos, they use them for nitrous, they use them for air ride suspensions. I think they're kind of so complicated a lot of people don't mess with them. So if I could set the whole thing up as a kit, which I have plenty of parts to do that, make it super easy for them. It's good for it if you want to smash it on the ground first, whenever possible. Let's get everything hooked up here first. shot out there. Almost. Be careful, it's dangerous. So we have a fucking working piston. I wonder how strong it is. I bet you it's surprisingly strong. I don't even know how to test it. I've been at this for like a week now, sad to say. That's the first progress. That's the first time anything is functioning correctly. The only thing, you had to make sure that this was like at least 5 inches for the pop can. Or else the initial one I had thrown together, the stroke was too short. Didn't even occur to me. Go figure. And then some. There's a couple ways I'll try and do it. There's one of them. The stroke isn't there. I wonder if that's strong enough to run this. Size. That's my mistake. Same thread though. It's confusing. Fit right because they're not metric threads, and these are. Well, it should be tight enough to at least test it. Hold it. Can't stop that. That's a lot of power. Yay. I'm getting there. I probably smoked it. That's way too much power. Those are industrial, though they can take some abuse. Okay. It shouldn't be that hard to get off there. Might not be the correct one, mister. Tell by the way they went in kind of weird. This might not be the correct size. What if I could somehow try and use this just with a better, longer. They're all different though. mounting thing. This little bracket. Actually, you could use something very similar to this. It's too big for that though. Something like it. Something that fits on here. Can't believe that light. I'm astonished right now. Yes, I did have it hooked up wrong. Go even bigger. It's a big piston. It takes a lot. I want to try it. Sometimes they go easy, sometimes they don't. Let's see where this thing. This button, this. Try this fucker. I want to try it now. This one back out. I'm recording that is okay. I should be able to see the all these fittings. This light isn't really doing much. Oh, Lordy. Hold a month without a cigarette. Phew, uh-oh. Let's see. Mess with this layer. Holy shit, is that heavy? It's a tool steel, super heavy metal. So, I'm getting number 8 tubing, 5/8 or whatever thread that is. Pretty sure I have size. It's a 6 instead of an 8. Use any adapters. What do you know? I want to go the other way. I'm missing in that one. It's just not enough power. It's a pretty big cylinder. Probably needs more air than that can put out. This one too. This one, the controls right here. May not need any electrical. I'm not sure. Should be able to run this with nothing. I should try it actually. Standard, I want the metric. Damn it. This too. This may not be right. see the needs. Streamed it. Clamp it down, dig it. It's not how it should, right? Well, kind of got it figured out. Next to be building the contraption itself. Everyone's got a different weight amount. So we pull another project. These ones are cool because they're threaded. And the other ones are like that. So just gotta find the right thing. Make one pretty easily. Find out what threads that is. I'm not quite sure this is the one I want to go with. Maybe. That is so powerful, this thing is silly powerful. It's a pretty big air pull for that little shit anyway. You have a bigger one, but this is loud enough. Which one uses more air? Actually, a math formula to figure it out. So I always have like a really weird thread on there too. They're always a non-standard thread. Interesting. Oh yeah. I'm sure I'll be doing more playing around. I'll probably be making all kinds of videos. It's been 59 minutes. Oh, Jesus. so fast. Squeak, squeak. Anyway, I don't know. Thanks for watching. A whole lot of not much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.